What's up, guys? Welcome to the Friday news show / week recap. I'm going to be doing these multiple in a row because I have so much going on in my life that I need just to have one show on Fridays and maybe have a little meme show later where we just sit back and enjoy life and laugh about how insane the news media is. So far, Russia expels diplomats over Navalny protests. Those protests going on in Russia are something to keep an eye on. It's really interesting that stuff like this is swept under the rug over most news outlets. I've heard women are being sexually assaulted by the police out there, and they're clashing with the police and all that kind of stuff. The sound of music. Beautiful, I know. Music star Christopher Plummer dies at 91 years old. 91. Surprised it's not a COVID death. Myanmar teachers joined together in military coup protests. That's going to be something to continue to watch. What's going on in Myanmar? That's such a weird thing. I don't understand. U.S. Congresswoman who supported QAnon, a.k.a. Taylor Greene, who also apologized for a lot of the conspiracy theories that she supported, is barred against committees and stuff like that, that's something to continue to read about and learn more as Democrats continue to just pluck each Republican that doesn't bend the knee. What's that woman from Colorado is probably next? Bobart. She's probably next because she likes guns. So let's get her. Some other stuff that's going on. AOC doubles down. AOC is kind of like Trump in a sense. Not calm down. Not in a sense that they are the same person, but the fact that the media just obsesses over select few people and gives so much free press as if they're the only people in the whole Senate, in the whole Congress, in the whole political sphere. It's like anything she says, they're like, oh my God, did you hear what AOC said? She doubled down on a lie, which is very typical of any narcissist. When the media has your back and the American, and celebrities and stuff like that, you can get away with whatever you want. And I keep hearing more and more, conservatives and Republicans like, it's a double standard. Yeah, it's a double standard, and they don't care. There's no standard anymore. The standard has been lost. It only resides in a few of us who have logical brains who can see things and go, that's wrong, and say it's wrong and stick to it. And most people, it's like, I just went on CNN. I look at all the news every day, every morning, and CNN had top stories. Still, the Capitol riots. They're talking about the Capitol riots and what went wrong. If they gave the same amount of news worthy of what all the Black Lives Matter and Antifa riots all summer long that destroyed businesses, destroyed streets, killed more people, all this stuff, and they should have been freaking out about that. And instead, the Democrats are going after all these Republicans that supposedly sort of said something that wasn't condemning enough or in some sort of support. What about all the liberals and Democrats who supported all these rioters destroying your businesses, destroying your homes, killing your friends and your family? Those people, in fact, gave money for them to be bailed out. And the double standard is there. And again, I call it out, but it doesn't matter because they don't care. It's all about your side winning more than what's right and what's wrong. It's about me looking better than you in the moment. Stocks went up today. It's always a good thing. Covid-19 kills 14% of New York nursing home population. 14%. Cuomo did a fantastic job down there. Remember that story that came out a couple weeks ago about how he actually might have muffed the numbers and did a worse job? It's gone already. Because when the Democrats fail at things, their failure is swept under the rug so fast, and it's forgot about. and then they can move on. But when Republicans, conservatives, libertarians, anybody in that boat, Trump supporters, whatever, if they do anything wrong, that will be talked about for years on end. These Capitol riots will be talked about for years. And it always begs the conspiracy theorists out there, like, did they want this to happen? Because now they have a reason to crack down. See, you crossed the line, and they've been waiting for you to cross that line. Now, they need to do these things in order for your protection, in order for your safety. Because you're not smart enough to think through these issues. You need Mommy and Daddy, AOC, one of the greatest bartenders of all time, and Joe Biden. Does he know where he is? Probably. I don't know. I just saw that last press conference. He's like, which way do I go? Huh? Where am I? What's going on? Most popular, most voted president of all time. Congrats. You need mommy, daddy to be told what's safe and what's unsafe, and this is for your own safety. The First Amendment is totally cool unless you say something negative about me, and that needs to be barred. Okay, so shut your mouth. Mike Pence joins the podcast ranks, launching a pod. I have said this 1,000 times, and I will continue to say this. I cannot stand celebrities or politicians or anybody that are launching these podcasts and they just get millions of views. And we need a break from you people, okay? We need a break from you, and we need to hear regular voices like yours and myself to speak out and not feel alone. We already feel like, these people have too much power and they're, too popular as it is. The Time put out a story today about how the election went down. They said it wasn't fraudulent in any way. But what was the word they used in the article? They used the election was fortified, which is always a fun word. They were not rigging the election, they were fortifying it through a well-funded cable of powerful people ranging across industries and ideologies working together behind the scenes to influence perceptions. Okay, I'm going to break down this Time article, which is like the craziest thing. This is just a little subscript from the article. Even though it sounds like a paranoid fever dream, a well-funded cable of powerful people. Who are those powerful people that helped the election? You guessed it, celebrities, politicians, news media, billionaires. What are some names? Soros. Raging across industries, so different industries like union industries, maybe, green energy, rail systems. Speaking of energy, love the fact that the pipeline was shut down. You know what? Instead of getting, our oil from Canada, let's get it from, our enemies and, take it from them and then ship it across the world and, cause more greenhouse gases emissions and stuff like that. Let's do that instead of just having a pipeline. Working together behind the scenes to influence perceptions, change rules and laws, and steer media coverage and steer media coverage. Love that line, because remember Hunter Biden? Yeah, let's steer that one. And control the flow of information. That's correct, my friends. Every once in a while, us few get so lucky when they finally say everything everyone's been thinking about out loud. And they let the viewer know, like Time Magazine, that they're all in this together. And it's not actually about journalism or speaking truth or finding out what's best. They want the power, and they will get the power, and they will use whatever means necessary in order to be in power. And it's for your own good. It's for your safety. So lock down and shut your mouth. So the Time article continues, steer media coverage, control the flow of information. They were not rigging the election. They were fortifying it. And they believe the public needs to understand the system's fragility in order to ensure democracy in America endures. Oh, so democracy is about fortifying in a strong front of powerful elite people taking over the information pipeline in order for you to have your mind made up. That's what fortification is. You are too dumb to read a news article or look at facts and figure out things for yourself. You need people who are strong and like-minded to show you the real facts of the day. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I do what I do. As I continue to do this in my limited number of people, the billions of people that tune into my podcast every day, yes, billions and trillions and billions that come into the podcast every day. I appreciate every single one of you that do, and I also appreciate those who continue to share the 1 Minute News with Derek O'Shea, with everyone and anyone you know. But there is this culture in media and in the world of people who just want you a part of their team, and they don't care how they go about and get it because they're right and you're wrong. And just like AOC, despite AOC saying what is complete nonsense and allowing the media and people to encourage her in hysteria, even if it's not true. So we can come up with things in our head that aren't necessarily true, which lead us to hysteria, which lead us to emotional breakdowns. And those are disillusions. Those aren't real. But if it's encouraged by people around us, if it's encouraged by the media, if it's encouraged by all your followers saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened to you, then you begin to believe your own delusions, your own lies. And so that is what we're watching. And it's unbelievable to watch. If she was Republican, she would be made fun of. She would be told she's insane. She would be kicked off committees. She would never be invited on Stephen Colbert, the fair and balanced talk show host. But it makes sense. Seeing AOC do these things isn't a surprise to me. As I wake up every morning and read the news and go through it, the hysteria is real, and hysteria is celebrated, and it will continue to be celebrated until we do something as the American people about it. But we will have a hard time doing something about it because the powerful, the elites, the people with money will continue to pump it down your throat and make you believe it. Because why? They found out that sex doesn't sell as much as it used to because it's so flooded, but the thing that does sell the most is hysteria. They use you and manipulate you in order for you to go crazy. And so they want you to go nuts, and they like it because it helps them stay in control. Whoa. And that is hard to think about and sad to think about, but it just means that you and me need to continue to, stay informed, read, and do good to those around us, because there's only so much you can do as an individual. You can start a podcast like myself, you can do videos, you can do whatever you want, but if Twitter and YouTube decide to nuke people like me, I'm not out front in your face about my values and what I believe. I do more in these types of long session podcasts, but they also want to control the media, the information. So if I say something that doesn't make them look good, then they will do something about it. And they will say, this person is not entirely true, it's not factual, you shouldn't listen to this person, he's insane. They'll go through, I always find it funny when somebody says something that is outrageous, and then all these new articles start popping up about their character, and this person isn't as exactly the person they say they were. And then all of a sudden it becomes less about information and more about the person's character. And so they find great ways in order to take away someone's message in any capacity. So you are not alone in this. I am not alone in this. Do not believe you're alone. Always make sure that information is power. And so the more you know, the better equipped you are to handle and be around people who spit out absolute nonsense, which I am constantly. The more, the older I grow, the more I know that people just don't have time to go through things like I do, or the desire. And so somebody will just say something and they'll believe it. Like I watch people just read the headlines and go, oh, wow, I can't believe this person said this or this person did this. And then they won't read the actual article. And the article like debunks what the title says. And it's just hard. You feel like you're fighting an uphill battle sometimes when you read stuff like you watch the riots all summer long, and now we're not even talking about the devastation and damage it did to those communities. But we're still talking about the Capitol riots, which were insane. Let's just be real. They were insane. And, but it wasn't like, they didn't like burn the place down. I mean, the entire community wasn't rocked. There wasn't any politicians that were murdered. It wasn't like, but like, these riots all summer long, I don't know. And the double standard of like, when conservatives were protesting masks, they were like, I can't believe this crap. And then this happened, and then the other one happens. I mean, all this to say is that one side doesn't care about a standard, and the other side does. And so because of that, you will never see eye to eye with somebody who doesn't have a standard. There is becoming far and fewer less people who have a standard or have logical thinking or think through problems rightly and don't just rely completely on emotions. Because if you rely on emotions, it will lead you astray. But if you rely on only facts, you will forget the emotions that become behind the story. So you need both. You can't have one or the other. And so that's just kind of what my Friday episode's about, is that the reason most people are going nuts, the reason most people are feeling like they're insane is because you are trying to hold a standard, you are trying to have an idea, and you're trying to push that idea, you're trying to say, oh, this is truth, and this is, where one side doesn't care about truth. They just care about their message and their agenda. And it's hard to watch. It's hard to be a part of. And it's hard for me to wake up in the news and read the news every day and then go, well, this isn't right. And then I say that, and then the next day it's gone. And you're lucky to even find stuff. I was like, the other day I was looking up information about AOC. I remember when she fake cried in front of the parking lot, and I couldn't find information about that. It wasn't even that long ago. The other day, tried to look up information on how many executive orders Joe Biden has already signed. It was hard to find the actual number. Why? You ask? I think the answer is obvious, because not too long ago, he said that executive orders are a form of dictatorship, and Trump is being a dictator by how many he's signed. But he's quadrupled how many that Trump has signed, or tripled. Quadrupled. I think he's done like 40. I don't remember the actual number. But it was hard for me to find the actual information. And that is the problem. Because when the Democrats do something that isn't favorable, it's swept under the rug. Or the story's put out one day and the next day it's gone. But when Republicans do something unfavorable, it's talked about, it's blown up, the hysteria is there, it makes you feel uncomfortable, it makes people go crazy. All that stuff is there. And that's the problem. One side has a standard and the other side doesn't. If they were equally the same, then I'd be okay with it. But the fact that it's not drives me crazy. It doesn't drive me crazy. It just makes me feel like it just makes you see between the lines. You know what I mean? And sometimes you feel alone doing that, but you're not alone. You're with me, and I'm with you. Thank you so much for watching the 1 Minute News Week Recap Show. I appreciate you. Have a fantastic Friday. And as always, I will see you soon for another edition of the 1 Minute News with your host, Derek O'Shea.